welcome back to That One Podcast, the show that got lost for a few weeks because we were doing the Bird Box Challenge, and we honestly couldn't find where our mics were. But we're back inside, and I think we're okay. How are you doing over there, Mark?
I'm doing just peachy.
All right. Nobody looked directly into its eyes, right? Like everybody's cool over there, right?
Yeah, everybody's good. We had a bit of a holiday lull there, and by lull we mean we were totally radio silent. But we're back now to entertain, to enjoy ourselves, and let you enjoy yourselves out there, our listening public.
Yes. And to be fair, there's a lot of stuff going on. My lady and I went to Vancouver for New Year's. I had a work trip last week. You lucky bastard, you didn't have to go.
Nope.
And then I think like there was 1 week where you were sick, and yeah, I mean, stuff happens, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. We're here. We're ready to go, and we're ready to give you guys the news. So we're going to do just that. First thing first, as always, we're going to go over the particulars of our show. So first thing first, Instagram and Twitter at ThatOnePod. Email us, podthat@gmail.com. If you want to go and see what we're working with, you go to shows.pippa.io/ThatOnePodcast. Also, thank you for the people who have joined the Discord. There's actually people who listen to my ravenous rant and actually join the Discord channel, and I thank you. I know I haven't been posting anything in there, but that's because it was a wasteland of sadness. So, going forward, I am going to start posting things in there. So, be looking forward to that. And of course, Mark, what do you got working on over there?
Well, I got my Twitch channel, which has been a little bit more active lately, trying to kind of turn things around for New Year's. That's twitch.tv/Tycoonatic, TYCOONATIC. I'm also Tycoonatic on YouTube, and I think I'm on Twitter, although I guess I should probably make sure and then actually do some stuff over there. And I, like I said, I'm trying to get a little bit, kind of back to the not the grind, because there wasn't really a grind, but basically being a little bit more busy out there.
Back into the saddle.
Yeah,
back into the rhythm.
Exactly, back into the rhythm. And so I'm going to be looking to stream once during the week and once on the weekends. In general, my weekday nights will be planning on doing them around Wednesdays or Thursdays. Just keep an eye on the channel. And that will be like kind of regular games that I play, over multiple times. And weekends, maybe Saturday night, maybe Sunday night, depends on family things, but I'll try to make one happen, and usually the weekend ones will either be first impressions or let's play, kind of new things that haven't been on the channel before.
Cool. And as always, I will post links to all that stuff on the show page /episode page, so that way you guys can view it. I realized that I think I skipped an episode or two when I didn't do that, so I'm going to correct that. But nonetheless, we'll get it up there for everybody, so that way they have access to it. All right, so first thing first. You guys have heard the sadness in my voice when I talk about the robocalls that I get. And to be fair, the government shutdown, not to get political, although, I'm not afraid to get political, but the government shutdown isn't helping with that at all. Actually, since the FTC is not in service, essentially what's going on is the criminals are running rampant, and I've gotten more calls. I did not think it was possible to get more calls, and yet I am getting more calls than I ever have. So that's awesome. But there isn't really any recourse, right? There's not very much you can do. But now Verizon has announced that they are going to be releasing, they're not releasing a robocall /spam call blocking tool. They're actually going to be offering the tool that they've already had for free, which while I want to say thanks Verizon, I also want to go, what the fuck, Verizon? Why were you charging for this in the first place? It was $2.99 a month.
Oh, so the 299 was okay. So the 299 was there, and now they're going to just offer it for free.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I thought it was something like they had it in like testing or like to only certain people, and then they were going to release it to everybody. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, Verizon wants to nickel and dime you no matter what. So it's just really annoying because there are companies that offer that those services, I should say, for free already. I think T-Mobile was one of them, and maybe AT&T.
I'll have to check on that. I have T-Mobile, and I don't think I get nearly as many robocalls as you do. So maybe I just have it turned on. I'll check on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Whatever it is, they said they're going to be releasing it. Of course, they haven't given a date as to when they're going to do it. I got a feeling when it's available, you'll know. Trust me, I'm going to be posting everywhere to the high heavens so that way we can get that shit just to stop. But you know what? I'm not going to be bitter. I'm not going to be angry. I'll be waiting with bated breath, hoping that someday it just all goes away. Because I'm getting so many fucking calls. It's kind of crazy. Oh man. But yeah, so once that does come out, we'll share it with you guys and let you know. We'll probably do it. I'm not gonna wait for a show to do that. I'll release it early happily on Twitter or Instagram. Well, probably not Instagram, but on Twitter or something. I'll tweet it out. But yeah, in the meantime, hold strong. Hopefully President Agent Orange puts the government back in service and we can just get them back to work, because even if I can get it down to single digit calls a day, Marvin will be happy.
Yeah, and for those of you out there not using Verizon, check with your carriers and see if they offer if they offer this service, and if they don't, ask them why. Because you need it. We all need it.
Yes, to say the least. All right, so moving on. As is the way of our world, there has been. Is this literally the biggest one, Mark?
That's what they
the
said.
Biggest of its kind? There has been a ridiculously large data breach that has exposed people's emails, passwords, or even a combination of the two.
1,160,253,228 combinations of emails and passwords, affecting 773 million unique email addresses in total. So yes, this is definitely the biggest.
Yep. So, what does this mean? I know it sounds like a big number, but you're like, there's so many people with so many passwords. Yeah, there are. But the problem is people use the same email address and password for everything. And once hackers get access to one list of email address and passwords, they'll just try it at everywhere they can until they can get in, and you'll never know what they get access to. So, what does that mean? What can you do about it? Well, there's two things you can do. First, there's a website called, what is it? Have I Been Pwned?
Yeah, Have I Been Pwned. That's what is it? It's haveibeenpwned.com, all one word.
And I'll post links in the on the site, of course. But you can essentially go there, and the way that it works, and I haven't used it in a few days, but correct me if I'm wrong. The way you use it, you put your email address in, and what the system will do, since it already has a list of all the sites that have been exposed, it will do a cross-reference to see if your email address has been found anywhere on this list, and if so, it'll give you recommendations on what you should do.
Now, to explain for everybody, this isn't like a single place that was hacked like Sony or Target or whatever it has been in the past. Effectively, What we're dealing with here is somebody took a bunch of collections of people's credentials, a bunch of collections of people's credentials from various hacks, some of which you may know about, some of which you may not, but all generally within the past couple of years, put them all into basically one large collection and then put it out on the internet for people to take. That's what we're looking at here. So some of these things you may be protected from. My recommendation, and I'm sure Marvin would back me up on this, is go to that site, look at all the sites that you may have been pwned on, and just to be safe, unless you absolutely remember, changing your password on those sites within the last, you know, month, a couple weeks, just change it again, and always use a password manager or
Mm-hmm.
something to that effect. You can use the one that's built into your browser. You can use the third-party one, but use something that will let you keep separate passwords for every site and will let you create and keep secure ones.
Yeah. That website, it looks like they're partnered with 1Password, which is a password manager that I've used, and it's not bad. Personally, I use LastPass, and when you're using something like that, in all honesty, it really is best just to let those apps make a randomly generated password, one that you're not going to remember. And yes, it's a pain in the ass if you're not on your computer and you need to type something in, but when something like this happens, one, it's not that big of a deal for you to change your password, right? Because it's already random, so you have no emotional ties to it. And two, the likelihood that you're exposed across multiple sites is nigh impossible. And I did this a few years ago. I went through and I made almost all the sites that I use random. There are some sites I use the same generic one, but it's like sites where I'm like, I don't really care if you have access to, I don't know, my MySpace or something. You know what I mean? Like just something like that literally doesn't matter to
Well,
me that
I
has
mean,
no.
the best practice there too is that if you have sites that you're just trying to log into quickly and you want to change them later, or there's stuff like this type of thing that you're not caring about, that you can use a random password or a generic password rather. Don't don't. I mean, my recommendation as an IT professional is basically um, come up with a formula that you can remember that is still relatively secure.
Yeah.
A series of words, and then maybe something that will let you reference the site that you're going on to. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say you're trying to go to YouTube, right? You could say like, you know, uh, monkey white 123 YT for YouTube or something like that. Just something that you can remember, but still is going to be hard to guess.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's not my password, but it could be Marvin's.
I do like those white monkeys. They're my favorite thing to remember. So, but yeah, it's the big thing is that you probably should go to the site and see if it knows. And keep in mind, just because this site doesn't say it doesn't mean that you haven't been exposed somewhere else and it just hasn't been made public yet. So it really is good just to change your password. Some people say once a year, some people do it more than that. I think once a year is plenty. And if possible, use two-factor authentication. Just in the cases where someone does get your password, well, now they're going to have that two-factor authentication access, which they're not going to be able to get
Keep in mind
unless they
too.
have your physical
Keep
devices.
in mind too that one of the other nice things about having a password manager is because it's keeping all your passwords for all your sites, it'll also let you remember which sites you have passwords on.
Yeah, yeah,
So going through
yeah.
maybe once a year or so, you can basically just go down the list. In fact, some password managers, I know there's at least one that will automatically. It has some sort of method where it automatically can change your password on a number of popular sites.
Yeah,
So
I think LastPass. I don't know if LastPass does them all at once, but literally, if you click a button, it will just change your password within
yeah,
seconds, and you're on with your day.
yeah. I think
So,
maybe Dashlane has one where it like will look at the sites that you have. I can't remember if it's
hmm
Dashlane or 1Password, but they have a thing where they'll look at all of your sites and then they'll basically give you a list and say, okay, here are all the sites you have passwords on, and here are the 20 or so that we can automatically change, and then it'll just let you just press a button and it'll go through. Just do whatever is most convenient but is also most secure.
yeah, secure. Remember this, okay? Yes, convenience is nice, but it's not convenient when your shit gets exposed and you lose access to it. Um, I liken it to your house. Yeah, it's convenient not to have to pull your keys out and fumble through your purse or your pocket while you're carrying shit just to unlock it. But you're not dumb enough to just leave your door unlocked. And if you are, stop it. Please lock your shit. Uh, but like it's like you have to do what you have to do. You need to make sure you're setting yourself up for security, because trust me, the annoyance of having to type in a password that's longer than than quote unquote necessary in some people's eyes is a much easier prospect to deal with than trying to recover your information and get access to it and make sure you're not being exposed. Because just here's the thing to think about: it's a cascading effect. So yeah, they might have the password to that one site you use to log in, like IMDb, right? But what if you use the same password for your email address? Well, now they got access to your email address, which means they can get access to your banking information, which means they can get access to your money. And now you're sitting there canceling credit cards and debit cards and all this shit, all because you just wanted to keep your password simple. So do yourself a favor, actually go through and protect yourself. It's simple to do. And you know what? I'm going to go out and say this. If you are having trouble to do this on your own, or you're not sure where to start, hit me up in Discord personally, and I will do my best to help you out. I may not do it for you because that's not my job, but I will do my best to help you take care of yourself, so that way you can feel secure. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, sounds good to me. And if I'm around, I can do the same thing. So yeah.
But Mark is busy doing other IT stuff, so he's trying to get people at our company to do this. So he has other fish to fry. But still,
like I got to get people at our company to actually communicate with IT when they have computer problems in the first place. So
that's a different kind of battle.
Fixing their passwords is beyond my scope right now.
We won't even get into that. So. All right. So now on the stuff that we actually like talking about. So NVIDIA, GPU manufacturer, probably, I would say they're the most popular one out there easily, right? I mean, it's not really an argue if NVIDIA is even close, right? Like it's.
The thing is, for so long they held the crown because they just mostly just because they had the best drivers. They had the least problems, I guess, of the two major manufacturers of high-end GPUs. So yeah, I mean, they're definitely the most popular. That's not to say they're the best. I don't actually know, because when you use one product, you generally don't know about the other, and that's the case here. I haven't used a Radeon product in quite a while.
Yeah, same here. But nonetheless, they're the big boy on the block currently, as it stands. Mm-hmm. And without getting overly technical and making people fall asleep listening to us here, there's a technology that NVIDIA uses called G-Sync. And without, again, not getting too technical, their technology is set up in a way that it makes the gaming experience a bit smoother. It synchronizes screen refreshes with the computer and the monitor itself, so that way there's a seamless action going on your screen. I've seen the before and after having the G-Sync on, and it really is incredible, especially for something you already are going to have anyway. For it to do that as well, it's just it's a real nicety. Now, the problem is, if you wanted to get G-Sync before, it was going to cost you. Because they're the big boy on the block, they wanted to charge everybody like they were the big boy on the block. So if you wanted to get a monitor that supported it, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would easily pay at least, $150 to $200, maybe even more, for the premium of having G-Sync.
In general, in my experience, it was about $200 over it.
Yeah. Now, with that said, AMD, who's their next competitor in line for the GPU market, they had their own technology called Freesync. Now, from a technical standpoint, they're very similar. G-Sync did have a few advancements over Freesync, but the upside of Freesync was that it was using open source technology. Because of that meant that manufacturers could just simply throw it in and not have to pay a licensing fee like they would for a G-Sync monitor. So you could have that technology for, say, I think $100, maybe $75, depending on
In
what you're
many
getting.
cases, it wasn't even any more money than the monitor would normally
Mm-hmm.
cost if it didn't have either technology in it.
Yeah.
There have been times when I have picked up what is basically just a generic, 27-inch monitor, 1080p for the office and for business use, and it has
Mm-hmm.
FreeSync.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, this was, it got AMD a foot in the door in a lot of instances because yeah, the cards may not be as powerful. Yeah, they may not be as efficient, but at the same time, if you just wanted to improve your gaming experience, it was the way to go. Well, that's changing. Now Nvidia has announced that they are opening the floodgates and they're going to make their cards compatible with FreeSync monitors. And there isn't anything they have to do other than do a driver update. And in fact, if you have done the latest driver update, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You can now use your G-Sync device with a FreeSync monitor and reap the benefits.
Yep, you have to you have to update to the latest driver, and you may have to make a couple of configuration changes within the NVIDIA
Mm-hmm.
tools. There will be a new option in there to enable G-Sync slash G-Sync compatible monitors. Now, one of the things that NVIDIA is doing here is they're saying they're giving like a list of quote unquote compatible monitors. It's like 6 or 10. I don't even remember what it was, but it's a relatively small list of FreeSync monitors that they say are compatible. A lot of the tech sites that I'm going to though are saying that you should be able to actually get this to work with any FreeSync monitor. I don't have
Yeah,
one, so I can't test that, but
same.
yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, just the idea of getting and to back up a little bit. I mean, for those who aren't familiar with what we're really talking about, just think of it this way: um, a computer or a GPU has to communicate with a monitor, and they have to sync up how many like frames per second that they can display. And if the monitor only supports a certain amount, then what you'll get tearing of the graphics, like where it kind of it kind of displays slowly, or you'll get like juddering or something like that. And what this is supposed to
Mm-hmm.
do is it's supposed to basically really sync up the speed of how your computer can deliver graphics to your monitor and keep it smooth no matter what they call the refresh rate is, because it can vary depending upon what kind of graphics are being sent to your monitor and what your monitor can handle.
Yeah.
And this is a fantastic thing specifically for gamers, where now you really can, if you have an NVIDIA card, you don't necessarily have to spend, uh, you know, uh, $500 for something that you could get for 250 on the FreeSync side. Now, you can still spend that $500 because you'll get a nice stand and some RGB, but is that worth it to you?
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, it isn't as though G-Sync is going away. So what essentially NVIDIA has done now is they've sort of made a tiered system for how the various sync products will be categorized in their eyes. So, and I'm gonna forget some of these, so if you really want to geek out over it, you can look it up yourself. But basically, the way the tier is, they have non-validated FreeSync. So these are monitors where, okay, they have FreeSync, but it because of some driver confusion, it may not you may not get the best experience. So I think I saw some instances where you had everything from stuttering when the sync was turned on to flickering where the picture would cut in and out to flat out just a black screen. So it starts at that non-validated where they're going, look, it could work, but we didn't test it, so we can't guarantee it. But like you said, for the most part, that hasn't seemed to be the case. In fact, I'm going to post an article where there are people who are going through and testing these in the wild. And so if you want to see what your experience would be like. Apparently, there are people who are doing that for NVIDIA, so that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I was just going to say, I mean, I'm looking forward to looking at the videos that compare all these options because I can't test it myself. One thing I did remember though is that in order to use G-Sync on a FreeSync monitor, you will need to connect via a DisplayPort cable. Now, most people use
Yeah,
HDMI. HDMI is the, kind of de facto standard primarily because that's what audio video systems and companies kind of adopted. DisplayPort is a technology that you mostly only see on computers. Most modern GPUs will have it, but it is a different type of cable, so you have to make sure
yeah,
your monitor has that input.
yeah. There have been some instances where people have reported getting it to work with HDMI 2.0. But if you want an authentic, no hands barred instance of this, DisplayPort will get the job done for you.
Yeah, I don't know why it really requires it from from a technology point of view, but one of the things that makes it a little bit more difficult is with HDMI 2.0, you not only have to make sure that your device has the 2.0 compatible ports, you also have to make sure you have a 2.0 compatible cable, and that
Yeah.
can be a little bit difficult. Your Amazon Basics cable may or may not be HDMI 2.0. Generally, you're going to have to shell out you know, $10 extra and get one of those fancy braided ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even
So,
then, it won't say HDMI 2.0 on it.
yeah, there are specific things you have to look for, which I've done that recently. So I'm gonna post some information on how to do that. If you're interested, just let me know and I can send that to you guys. But so there's a non-validated list. There's the validated list. So this is validated. Yes, it will work with Freesync, which is the open source technology. Now the thing is, the Freesync, because it is I would say a lower level of performance, the refresh rate that Mark was referencing before, there's a span, a window where this technology works, and the span of that window is a little bit smaller than it is on the next tier, which is G-Sync compatible. So these are the traditional monitors where it would have G-Sync already built in, but then they actually have tiers of G-Sync. So they're letting you know, and again, I don't remember what they are exactly because I saw they had like a display where they showed it, but there's like G-Sync compatible, then there's G-Sync Pro, I think, or G-Sync Ultimate, I think is what that last tier, which is it's the largest range and the largest span in which the adaptive sync will work. So regardless, they're not trying to get rid of their technology. Instead, they're doing something that's actually pretty smart. They're allowing the other technology to work, but they're showing that their technology is almost a premium. And so if there are people who want to have that service, well, guess what? You can still get our card and use it. But if you want to have that best of the best experience, yeah, you got to get the one that is G-Sync compatible or G-Sync Ultimate, because it'll do it on the FreeSync, but not as well as it would do with our stuff.
What this is like, the way that I kind of think about it is like this. You know, G-Sync's your Mercedes, right? And with your standard little monitor, you're driving around in a Civic. What NVIDIA's doing here is it's letting you upgrade to an Acura. You're not
Mm-hmm.
getting your Mercedes, but you're getting something better.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Exactly. Well,
It's better than driving around
much
in
better
a
than nothing.
goddamn Accord or a bicycle.
Right, right. I mean, it's really it's your base level has been upgraded, which is
Mm-hmm.
real nice.
Yeah. Which, as a consumer, I can't help but love. And even though we're not going to have time to go into it, NVIDIA has already partnered with various companies to come out with what they're called BFG, or big fucking giant
Yeah, it's
displays.
BFGD or something. Yeah, it's
Yeah, BFGD.
big expletive display something something.
Mm-hmm. But I think on one of the episodes, I went on to one of my infamous rants where I was talking about how PC monitors have technology that TVs don't, and vice versa. And somebody needs to make a best of the best product, right? Where everything is in. That's what these are going to be. again, don't have time to go over it, but if we might, talk on this at a later date. But now that sort of thing is coming out, we should. I'm actually looking forward to seeing TVs coming with more features that cater to gamers without having to be gimmicky and actually could benefit the audience. Because in all honesty, it doesn't have to be exclusive to just fucking, gaming. This technology could be used for movies or something like that, and
Yeah, I mean,
I think
the TVs do have to stay within the price range that people are willing to pay for,
of course,
for these things. The issue with monitors too is that monitors, in comparison, are much more expensive than televisions.
This is true.
If you take into account what they can do, what they can do, and the size of the display and all that kind of stuff, and like how it connects to things and what it's kind of designed for.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I think it's exciting because we need to see technology. So everybody go. So this is the thing I always tell people. I go, "Oh, have you heard about this new thing coming out?" They're like, "I don't even care. It's so expensive. It doesn't matter." And the thing I have to remind people is, you want new things to come out. There's an 8K TV that got announced that they're going to be selling like in the next year and a half. And people are like, why are you even making it? There's no content. And I go, you're absolutely right. But I want that 8K TV to come out. And people are like, what? Are you going to buy it? Nope, I am not going to buy it. But you know what that's going to do? The mere existence of an 8K TV is going to make the 4K TV so fucking cheap.
Yep,
it'll be
lower
like
the prices.
It'll lower the price. It's just like what happened when 4K TVs came out. That's when you saw. I remember the first time I saw an HD TV on sale for like $200. I went, holy shit, what's happening? And was it a good HD TV? Of course not. But the fact that it was $200 when literally years before that I had spent like $1,700 on an HD TV was insane to me. I was like, this is crazy. How can it be so cheap? Because new technology comes out. I want the new technology. Why? So I can get that previous generation for cheap. So, you all better be praying to the TV guys that they come out with a 900K TV so that way you can get some cheap technology to make that upgrade your life. So that's all I got to say about that. All right. So we're moving away from tech to movies. The Oscar nominees have come out. And boy, oh boy, if one of the show favorites wasn't nominated for Best Picture in Black Panther, I wouldn't have believed it. It's something that I said to myself. It's something I said to people, but I didn't think they would actually do it. And sure enough, I look at the listing, and there you go, Black Panther nomination, Best Picture.
Yep, first superhero movie nominated for Best Picture. Not ironically, it's the best superhero movie in my opinion, at least of the modern. No, just straight up. It's just
yeah. It really is.
Just straight up.
It really is. And for those of you who go, oh, but The Dark Knight was nominated. He's not a fucking superhero. So no, he didn't get to be nominated for Best Picture and be a superhero movie. He's a caricature of vigilante. And guess what? That's be like saying Dirty Harry is a fucking superhero because he did the same goddamn thing. Stop it. Now, I will say this.
Well, keep in mind too that Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
Oh no, you're right. It was nominated for Best Picture.
It was not. This is the first superhero movie nominated for Best Picture. The Dark Knight was nominated for a bunch of technical awards and Best Supporting Actor, which it won for Heath Ledger. But
amazing.
Yeah, he was real good.
Yeah, too bad he died.
Yeah,
too soon.
Posthumous Oscar there.
Yep, but I was talking with Pedro and Rashad, and one of the things they brought up was another nominee for Best Film in its specific category, though, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And frankly speaking, they were saying, you know what? They wouldn't have been surprised if that movie had been nominated for Best Picture of the Year because it was really, really good. I know you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it yet. Just because I don't get it. I have a toddler. I don't get a chance to see
Nope,
to
nope.
get out to the movies too often. But the other thing to think about is that Spider-Man just came out. It may not have. I mean, it may have just like barely made the cut just for this award, not or just for
Yeah.
this nomination, much less anything
Hmm.
else. And there were some good animated features over the past year, but it just feels to me like they were all kind of, good but not great. And then
Hmm.
Spider-Man came out, and I have heard nothing but just people just raving about it. And even people
Yeah.
who don't like or really particularly, care about Spider-Man have come away very impressed with this film.
And I will go as far as to say this. I was watching something. I don't remember what it was, but I heard a woman go, "I'm tired of Spider-Man. I just don't care." Here's the thing to keep in mind. This is a completely different approach. This is not a Peter Parker focused Spider-Man. This is about a different Spider-Man. Miles Morales. I'm not going to get into it cuz I can talk about it all day cuz I'm not going to say probably. He is my favorite Spider-Man. And because of this, I need people to understand this is not a Peter Parker movie. Peter Parker's in it, not in the way you're expecting it, but at the same time, he's not the primary focus. And because of that, it was a very refreshing movie. The art style of it is just gorgeous to look at. You are doing yourself a disservice if you do not see this movie simply because you're Spider-Man out. This is just a good movie. They could have named this superhero anything, and it still would have been an enjoyable movie. So I highly recommend you see it if you get an opportunity, if you get it outside of the home, maybe. Mark, I'm going to be buying this movie. So if you got to watch it at home, so be it. I'll let you borrow it because I'm going to be buying this movie.
Oh,
Um,
I'll most likely pick it up on digital purchase as soon as it comes out,
and
just from word of mouth alone.
yeah, yeah, and that's perfectly fair. But this movie is that good. We debated for a while over which we thought was better between Black Panther and this particular movie. And the fact that you even get to debate it lets you and they're in earnest lets you know how good this animated movie is. So I think it's gonna win easily. But I mean, these are Oscars. I don't, weird shit happens, so you never know. Um,
Well, I will say this before we move on that you know whether you like Spider-Man or don't, whether you care one way or the other. If you if you're the kind of person that says I'm so tired of Spider-Man, there's too much Spider-Man, maybe. But until they stop making all the zombie movies and zombie video games and zombie apocalypse this and that, you can shut up.
Look, you know how long we had to deal with only vampire movies? There
Oh
were
my
only
God.
I feel for years. I feel like for 100 years we had nothing but vampires. They have vampires that sparkled. They have vampires that turned into mush. They have vampires that were smart. They have vampires that were dumb. We had TV shows about vampires that were good. We had TV shows that were about vampires that were bad. And I'm just watching the whole time. I'm going, I don't give a fuck about
Yep.
vampires.
The only good thing that came out of the vampire craze was John Carpenter's vampires. I will say that.
But we had to put up with a lot of shit to get there.
That's
So,
true. That's true. Look, every
so
generation, not even every generation, every half a generation, every quarter generation, we got, just an overload of something because it's
yeah,
popular. I mean, how many Batman movies have there been?
yeah,
So
yeah,
hey, I'm not a big Batman fan, but
yeah. Me neither.
I, I don't sit there and say I'm so tired of hearing about Batman. Anyway,
I agree.
I just want to let you know, stop talking about zombies, stop talking about Batman, love the Spidey. That's all I'm going to say.
I will say this too. This movie is a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, and in fact, it makes fun of the fact that there have been so many movies about Spider-Man. So just go see it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. And if it can make fun of it while still putting on a good show, it's probably worth it. All right, next we're gonna switch it up again. I'm gonna leave the movie verse and go to the TV verse because one of my favorite shows out there, it might be my favorite show, although, to be fair, The Good Place is really fucking good. But I won't get into this right now. one of my favorite shows has come back, and that is Star Trek Discovery. You and I had a discussion about Star Trek Discovery, and I remember we were talking about it. You're like, I might have to actually pay to see this show.
Yeah. Now that it's back on, yeah, we had that discussion a little while back about the little micro episodes, the microsodes or whatever they were, and how we thought
they were all
how it was a good idea to kind of take care of people during a hiatus. It's a lot of shows, as I think I brought up in that discussion. There's a lot of shows out there that there's a lot of effort, a lot more effort, and a lot more expense, and a lot more time to create, as opposed to other shows. So they do take time to make, and they do create hiatuses.
Yeah, and I will say this: the minisodes were so good. The I want to say the third minisode they put out, Calypso. Oh my God. It is beautifully done. It is the definition of a one shot. It has nothing to do with anything that's going on in the show. It just so happens to take place in the universe. And my girl hasn't seen the show at all, but I like, you need to see this episode. And so I made her watch it. I think it's only 15 minutes long. It's not a full episode, right? Like it's literally a mini-sode. Mm-hmm. So she watched it, and she just was like, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I was like, I know, right? Like, so, it's, this show is really well done. And when I see a show that's really well done, I need people to know it exists. So I just wanted to talk about it to get it back in people's brains. If you were watching it already, guess what? It's back. Watch it again. I saw the first episode. It was good. Didn't see the second episode because it came out today. And as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go watch it. But actually, no. What's today? Nope. It comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, we're recording this on the 23rd. So
yes. So the 24th is episode 2. I'm watching it. Also, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is good. Damn, that's another thing. But regardless, watch this show. You will be doing yourself a disservice if you forget, even if you like Star Trek. If you're into sci-fi at all, this show will make you happy in all the right kind of ways. So, just wanted to share that bit of info there. All right, now we're coming back to reality. We just took you literally to Wakanda, then we took you to space. Well, guess what? Now I'm taking you to a goddamn Target parking lot near you.
Maybe or maybe not near you. It depends on.
It depends on where you are.
Depends on where you are. Depends on how much your the folks in your vicinity have an issue with clean fuel vehicles.
Yeah. So a long time ago, way back in late 2018, stories started coming out of people who own Teslas not being able to use their charging stations. So generally speaking, Tesla charging stations are set up in various areas where, a Tesla owner can just go up, use their card, and just pay to charge it like a gas station.
Or any electric vehicle, really, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, generally they have like special pumps for Teslas, but then any electric vehicle could charge them at that location as well. Well, what a bunch of assholes who drive pickup trucks have been doing, and when I say this, I'm not thinking like, oh, this is like the guy who works and he uses his truck for work. Now I'm talking about the dude who puts big honking wheels on it that elevates it because he goes mudding. Those guys.
These are those guys that did that thing like a year or two ago where they basically set up their trucks to like burn stuff out of their exhaust as filthy as possible so that they could get in front of Nissan Leafs and Toyota Priuses and like just basically show their opinion of clean burning vehicles by polluting the air. I guess I don't really understand this. Train of thought.
Think guys who jack off to Silverado commercials. That'll be who the audience we're talking about. So what these guys have been doing is they purposely been blocking their trucks in front of the Tesla charging stations so that the so that the electric cars can't be charged. And so, like, there was really nothing they could do. Like, they were stuck. Well, Tesla owners kind of were fed up with it. And in a sort of ironic feat, they decided to use their electric vehicles to get these trucks out of the way. So what people have been doing, especially the ones who own, either the Model 3 or the Model X, the larger vehicles.
Yeah, the S or the X, yeah.
Yeah. And what they've been doing is literally tying a tow on the front of these trucks and just fucking yanking them out of the way. And I'm going to post a link to an article that covers it. There's something hilarious about seeing a fucking electric car just literally yanking the shit out of a fucking Silverado and getting it out of the way.
Well, the thing too is that people consider electric cars to be, to somehow be these like, really weak cars that don't have any, power behind them and don't have any speed and all this kind of stuff. And I think that comes from the old days of like the EV1 where they had really short ranges. I mean, the ranges still aren't great, but that's not a result of the power of the engine. It's just a result of like how much how much energy that strong engine sucks up out of the batteries. So Teslas, especially the S and the X, these larger model Teslas, are really strong vehicles. I mean, they're surprisingly strong. These things could, if you were able to put a tow hitch on it, I bet you these things could tow like horse trailers.
Yeah. Well, this one, in this article where they reference the video I'm mentioning, it says Chevy Silverado that weighs 5,104 pounds, and it looks like if you've ever like moved a dresser drawer because something fell behind it, and it's not difficult, it's not easy, but at the same time, it's not like you're lifting a piece of paper. That's what this looks like. It looks like it's literally just like, get the fuck out of here, Silverado. I got shit to do and places to be. So I will happily post pictures of that. Look, I'm not one of those people that thinks that, oh, nobody should drive a pickup truck. Look, drive whatever the fuck you want to drive. Just don't be a dick. Like, that's the problem with this day and age. Everybody just wants to be a dick. And frankly speaking, I come from Cleveland, the land of just stay the fuck out of my way. So just stay out of fuck out of everybody's way. And I hope that, in the process, that axle and that Silverado accidentally got damaged. Because guess what? You shouldn't have been there in the first fucking place. And you know what? Maybe you won't be able to afford to go mudding next week. But guess what? Don't be an asshole. And maybe you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, these cars do need to charge up more than a regular car needs to gas. So if you sit there and you block the charger, I mean, you may as well be putting a boot on a random stranger's car for no reason. Just no reason whatsoever. I mean, this is worse than any of the a-hole things that I see people do in parking lots all the time, except for the ones that park over 4 handicap spaces. Those guys can eat a wiener.
I'll say it for you. They can eat a dick. There you go.
I'm a dad. I have to watch my language.
Yeah. I watch mine leave my mouth. All right. And then we got one last thing to talk about here. And again, we're back in the real world. So the holidays have come and gone. Everybody knows one of the things that you get that can either be the best thing in the world or just a burden is gift cards. There are often times where people end up getting gift cards and they have no idea what to do with them because either A, you go to that location, but you don't necessarily go every week or often enough to remember to, or B, you do like I do, you get it and you fucking forget you got a goddamn gift card. You end up paying with cash or credit card anyway because you're an idiot. But regardless, maybe you just
leave it in your wallet and then you like dig in there one day. You're like, oh, there's a Target gift card in here or a Amazon gift card. Does it have any value? I don't know. and then it may have been used up, but you have no idea, so you just leave it in your wallet. It takes up all that space, and I
Yep.
mean, none of this has ever happened to me, of course.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. So basically, we just want to talk about two different things to sort of help you guys with that. So the first thing, very simple. If you do have a gift card and you used it, you loved it, you were able to get exactly what you wanted, and you couldn't have been any more pleased than you were with the purchase. But maybe you had just the right amount of stuff on there that now you have this odd amount of money on your gift card. Well, there are some states, luckily for us, California is one of them, that will allow you to redeem your gift card for actual cashish. Now, you have in California, you have to have the value on the card has to be $10 or less. But if it is, you just simply go to that location, say, "Hey, can you tell me how much money is on my gift card?" They tell you, "Okay, can I get that cash?" And yeah, they'll give you the money. Not every state does this, and the dollar amounts are different across the board. But we're going to post a link there that will actually give you an idea of how you are where you live. For all my friends in Ohio, Republicans run that state, and they don't want you to be happy. So sorry about that. But we had another one, didn't we, Mark? What was the other one about gift cards?
Well, the other one was that there appears to be a way to actually sell gift cards that you don't necessarily want, or more along the lines of, well, yeah, basically you sell them, and then you can buy gift cards that you might want. So basically, you're effectively doing a trade-in. There's at least one website that will do this for you. Now, they will not give you the full value of that gift card. There's first of all, there's a fee for the website, so something like 10 or 15%, I don't remember exactly. And then the actual value that they will give to you is based on the kind of the demand for that particular type of gift card, that store or whatever it is. But you're effectively selling it for cash, or more or less, that you can then use to buy a gift card that you want. So let's say you have a $50 Victoria's Secret gift card, and you're
That
like,
sounds like something I would have.
yeah, exactly. And you're like, you're a 46-year-old man like me, and I'm just like, I guess I could give this to my wife, but I'd really rather have that Amazon gift card. This is $50 traded in, and maybe I can get 40 back for it. This is just a number I'm pulling out of my behind.
Yeah.
But I can use that 40. I can then get a $40 Amazon gift card, and I can get a drone or something,
Yeah.
which I can't get at Victoria's Secret that I'm aware of. Maybe a panty drone,
Hey,
but that just
you
sounds
don't
weird.
know what they do to these angels nowadays, man. Like look, they're getting upgrades that we aren't even ready for. So
Yeah, panty drone sounds
possible.
super creepy. I'm sorry I said that. I apologize.
I'm just imagining a panty drone. It sounds like something from fucking Revenge of the Nerds or something.
It's like a drone. It's like a regular drone. Maybe it's pink, and it just flies around, and it has a camera on it, but it can't see anything other than panties. So
there's some incel somewhere just like I need.
oh God, no.
But yeah. So the
You said
big
the I
thing
word.
is, I did, and I'm not taking it back. So the big thing is, it's just while it may not be optimal for you to do, it's still an option if you get that gift card to that one store that you're never going to go to, you don't care about, and you really weren't going to use it anyway. So rather than letting the money on the gift card expire, which by the way, if you have a gift card, there are expiration dates for that. You need to check that gift card because it will dictate what you are able to do.
Again, that depends on the state that you're in. So some states don't allow expiration dates on gift cards, but you'll want to check.
Yeah, better safe than sorry,
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it never hurts to have a slightly better idea of what options you have, So there you go. All right. So that's it.
Yeah. That looks like a good nearly hour's worth of content for you guys to soak up, and I hope you enjoyed it because we enjoyed providing you some brain food.
Ooh, eat it up. Yep, that little AMSR on you. There you go. So, just to wrap everything up, as always, Instagram, Twitter, at that1pod. Email us, podthat@gmail.com. Go to see the show page at shows.pippa.io/that1podcast. You already know that the Discord's going on. I will be posting more stuff. I'm a man of my word. I will do this. Trust me. And then, Mark, let them know what you got.
I got stuff that I'm streaming occasionally on twitch.tv/tycoonatic. I'm also throwing those videos and maybe occasionally some other videos, who knows, up on YouTube. Just look for Tycoonatic there. And I'm sure I've got a Twitter or something out there as well. The only thing I don't do is Facebook. Sorry, Facebook folks, but I'm not a fan. So there you go. That's it.
It happens. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell everybody, the show actually has a YouTube page. No video, but if you ever want to have it where, say, you want to play the podcast, but you are using something that doesn't have a podcast app, yeah, you can go to the website. But, I mean, we got a YouTube page, too, so it'll play the episode you're hearing now on YouTube. So, yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have, but
yeah.
There you go. So,
Tycoonatic also has a Discord channel, but there's no activity in it. So I think everybody needs to go to the That One Podcast Discord channel. Join it.
Join it. Be one of us. So, thank you everybody for joining us today. Again, have a good one. And as always, be nice to one another.
All right. Bye. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.